You have amazing energy. Bringing a smile to people's faces and just happy that you are an amazing father, okay?
Thank you.
It shows. We have more children than we prefer.
For sure. Got it.
Unfortunately, you are not ready to love.
I don't know whether it's watching too much reality TV or whatever, but I'm a bit conflicted in regards who is ready to love and who's not. Do I think the ladies made the right decision in sending Naeem home? No. Because outside of the fact that he has 3 baby mamas, there was nothing wrong with him. He seemed more committed and dedicated than some of the guys that they've kept in the experiment who don't have any children. I feel like people should have given him an opportunity. I feel he deserved at least for them to meet the baby mamas. This is why it should have been the ladies meeting the exes. That way they would have been able to make an informed decision. Otherwise, this decision I feel was biased. And also, some of the guys I think are just there just to be on TV. I don't quite get being hypercritical of people and still wanting to explore connections. It's giving she's keeping security in order to stay around. That's the impression that I get. Because outside of Khalil, the other 2 connections, she's always had sort of these sort of incidents where she's run away, so I don't get it. But anyway, I digress. Hey there. Thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Ready to Love, Season 10, Episode 8. So you have Tommy meet up with the girls and they sort of have just a brief conversation about the fact that they introduced their guys to, you know, their exes in the previous episode. And so in this episode, it seems the girls are going to be meeting the guys' friends. And it doesn't make sense to me. If the guys are meeting exes, why are the girls not meeting exes as well? Are we afraid that it's going to be too toxic, or did the guys request it that way? I don't quite get that. Anyway, first up we have Kiara. She meets up with Jay and his friend Aaron. What did I think? Personally, I don't think that's a good connection. I think there's something underlying that sort of connection. Yes, there's sexual attraction, there's physical chemistry, but I think there's a lot more going on under the surface that they're not showing to the producers, and I wish we could actually know what it is, because it seems there's a bit of toxicity, because he made a comment and then she said, we're not going to do that here. And it's like, what do you mean we're not going to do that here? So what are you doing in private away from the cameras? And, you know, you then had Aaron sort of say that Jay thinks that Kiara is the one. Do I think so? I don't know. I think she's a stunning girl, but I'm surprised that she's ended up with Jay. I don't quite get their connection, maybe because it's been a while since I watched it. It seems they both have 2 children, so there was a conversation about blending families and how that will work out, how their children will sort of blend into become one family. It's going to be a bit difficult. It's going to be a bit difficult, that we know, because you're dealing with 4 different people and you're going to want those 4 different people to get along outside of mom and dad. So I don't know. They spoke about love languages. Apparently Jay's love language is physical touch. They're always touching. He said there was this conversation about sharing the same values. I hope so. I really hope so, but I personally don't see it. We then had Tay meet up with Zach and Q, who are Cisco's friends. She said she likes that he's honest and he treats her well. And then there was the conversation about the financial stability. I think Tay knew that Cisco really liked her, and so in order to stay on the show, she made amends so that she could be in his good books. Do I think he's her number 1? I don't think so. I think he's her number 2, 3, somewhere there in the mix, but he's not number 1. Whereas he is putting her as number 1 and actually let go of Shanice so that he could keep her. And I don't know how that will work out. The conversation came up about her comments when he said, you know, he didn't have his own home, he didn't have this, that, and the other, and you could see at that point that, you know, Tay was sort of ticked off. She got the ick, but she kept going just because she wanted to have a conversation, because she also brought up that I have another connection that has, you know, the same values as I, and he has most of the things that I'm looking for in a guy, and you know, so it's going to be difficult for me to make a decision. That should have been response enough for Cisco to know that he's about to go home, because I don't think Tay is going to keep him. I think she's going to stay with Khalil over him. Once she left, you had Cisco telling his friends that his biggest worry is that every other guy is saying Tay is their number 1. And it's like, what do you think if you choose the most popular girl? That's what's going to happen. So it's up to you to decide whether you want to put up with that or whether you want to keep it stepping. And then you you had Cam with his friend Nish, this I found difficult because Cam, I think, is what do you call it? He's picking up all the strays. That's the impression that I get, because he has such a motley crew of connections that don't make sense and that don't align. And he's got Angie, he's got Rose, he's got Sahara. They could not be more different. Because Angie is more sort of delicate and very sort of, I'm, one with the universe, I'm with the spirit world. Whereas Angie, she's one of those she looks like one of those fly by the seat of my pants girls, those, biker girls and stuff. And then with Sahara is a project on its own. So I get where his friend was coming from, because his friend said, at times he tends to give time to relationships that he should have ended. Sahara and Angie are that. I personally feel like if he were to rank his connections, he would rank Rose number 1, Angie number 2, and then Sahara number 3. I think Sahara, he's keeping her as a project, as someone he feels he needs to save, but I don't think there's that strong emotional connection that you'd say would create a lasting connection. It was said that he prioritizes others, and then they went into a conversation of what the girls want in a relationship or what they expect the guy to do for them. And so because Nish was saying, he's very caring, he's always there for his partner, Angie then said, well, I'm independent, I don't want someone doing stuff for me, I want to do stuff by myself. And it's like, why do you want to do stuff for yourself? Why don't you want him to help you? That is the question. That's the same question I asked in the last period. You had Rose saying, I want to take care of my partner, I want to be there for him, I want to be supportive. You had him say, no, this is not what I want, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be taken care of. I've never had anyone take care of me. And it's like, so if there's such drastic differences between you and these people, why are you in connections? Anyway, the other girls left, and then Sahara was saying, he needs to let go of everything else and choose wisely. And it's like, Sahara, you're just there as a project for him. You're just there as a project for him because he feels sorry for you and he wants to save you. I feel sorry for Sahara because looking at the girls, the way they were sort of packaged and presenting themselves, she couldn't be far away different from someone like Rose. She's on the other opposite end of the spectrum, even with Angie. So I personally don't understand how Cam is saying that she's also one of his connections. You had Diona and Tay meet up with Khalil and his friend Brian. Apparently, they've been friends since high school. There was this idea that it seems Khalil really wants to be married and have kids. And then there was this conversation about, how do you feel about being in a connection with someone? Do you always want that person to check in on you? Do you want, to know every single thing that they're doing? And Diona was saying, as long as I trust you, I don't care what you do. You could do whatever you want to do, and then we'll meet at the end of the day and we'll discuss how our day went. Whereas with Tay said, I want reassurance. I want someone to be affectionate. I want them to know where I am. And so you then had Khalil sort of say, oh yeah, I want someone also who wants me to be affectionate with them and wants me to check in. And it's like, I'm confused because I don't quite remember the connection between Diona and Khalil. It's been months actually since we last saw episode 6. So the idea or the impression that I got is, from what Diona said, her connection was Eddie. And now that Eddie is gone, she is now sort of backpedaling and going back to Khalil, which gives me the impression, as I said in my previous review, that Eddie, I think production dumped him because of his drinking problem. That's the impression that I get, because there's no other reason why he could have been dumped, especially if Diona was saying that that's her strongest connection. So you had Naeem with his friend Yusuf meet up with Diona and Tay. They brought up the conversation about him having 5 kids and 3 baby mamas. It was revealed that Tay, apparently, as soon as she found that out, she ran away. And Tay has got a pattern. She's got a rhythm. She's got a thing that she does, because the same thing happened when she had issues with Cisco. She ran away. So I don't know whether she's the ideal match that everyone thinks she is, because if she's constantly running away from problems and then having to think about it and then come back, it doesn't make sense. No one wants that sort of a relationship. The girls obviously asked the friend that what's his positive quality, and the friend said the way he is around children. I wish you had an opportunity to experience that. And sadly, this is why I feel the girls should have met with the guys' exes the same way the guys met the ladies' exes. The same courtesy should have been extended the other way around, because at least that would have presented more insight. A friend will always speak positively about their friend, whereas as an ex will actually shed more light onto this relationship. He spoke about, you had Naeem speak about his baby mamas and how the relationship came to be. The fact that he had this first relationship when he was very young. His second relationship was with someone who he was trying to sort of contort himself to be the man that she thought or he expected her to want. And sadly, that didn't work out. The same thing happened in this third relationship with his third baby mama. And this is why he took time out to work. And so the girls then asked, what does he need to work on? And it was revealed that he needs to work on his trust in women, because when his relationships didn't work out, he cheated. And sadly, that sealed his fate, in my opinion, because I think once that was revealed, he was that the ladies were done, because it's bad enough he's got 5 children. Now he's got 3 baby mamas and he's a former cheater. So I think that was the nail in the coffin for him. And this is why the ladies made the decision that they did, because otherwise there's no justification for that. You had Hussein meet up with Angie and Rose. He introduced them to his friends Lee, Jax, and Andre. And so Rose was the first one to arrive, and Rose revealed that, he ticked all the boxes in the conversations that they were having, in the sense that she didn't need to ask questions. He just volunteered the information that she needed. And the friend Lee then revealed that he's in a polyamorous relationship because he doesn't believe that any one person possesses all the qualities that somebody else needs. And by saying that, Rose then said, I don't like sharing. Rose comes across as very territorial, in my opinion, from what we've seen. She comes across as very territorial and at times overprotective. So I get where she's coming from. Angie then arrives and turns out she knows, Lee, which everybody, their backs were up because they were asking, where do you know him from? Even Hussein was worried that how does she know him? Is she a former partner? What is it? And Angie was quick to sort of address that and say, I've bartended a couple of his events, so that's how I know him, which was good because it was able to resolve the tension that was already there. The girls then asked, and they were told that, Hussein tends to fall hard and fast. This is something that was positive, music to Angie's ears, but sadly, this sort of had Angie's back up, because now she's questioning how serious is he. There was a conversation whereby they spoke about the fact that he has, first of all, you had Lee questioning Rose about her sex life. And it's like, why are we asking this question? This is not necessary. We don't need this. There is no space for this. And so once Rose had left, you then had one of the friends reveal that Hussein had a high sex drive. And it's like, these boys are just opening their mouths and just saying anything that comes out. They're not even taking time to remember that they are on TV. They also reassured, Angie, that is very dependable. Do I think Angie's person is in this experiment? No, I don't think so. I really don't. I think Angie should have gone home. Her person is not here because they all don't seem to be there for the right reasons, but that's just my opinion. The ladies then met with Tommy in the vault and had a sort of a debrief about their dates with the guys. First up, you had Diona and Tay, because they shared 2 days with the guys, and they were saying that Khalil is open and is understanding. Do I think that? Yes, I do. I think Khalil comes across as a great guy. Sadly, I don't know whether either one of these girls are the best for him. I think Diona is too sort of regimented in how she behaves, and I think Tay has flaws, especially the running away part that guys are tending to overlook because of how pretty she is. Cisco, you had Tay say, she met his friends. They told her that he's a hustler and he'll continue to put the grind in to get what he wants. And sadly for me, what do I think? I don't know. I don't think Tay is serious about Cisco. As much as she says he's her number one, I still don't say it. You had Kiara say Jay is consistent, he's the relationship type, he's kind. Out of the blue, we now have Shakira. Oh my God, I'm calling her Shakira. Out of the blue, we had Sahara say that she has romantic vibes with Jay, and it's like, since when? Since when have you had these romantic vibes? It seems like she's a plant. It seems like production are telling her who to wind up, and that's exactly what she's doing, because it doesn't make sense. We haven't heard anything about this connection up until now. You could tell that Kiara was trying to keep it cute, but she wasn't happy about it. The ladies then spoke about Cam and the fact that Cam apparently gives more chances than he should to anyone. You had Rose complaining that, apparently he finds it difficult to receive love, so she's going to struggle with that aspect of it. On her part, Angie said, she she struggles to have someone be there for her, and he wants to be there for her, and she doesn't know how she'll cope with that. Eventually, she opened up about her family dynamics and the fact that everyone is always relying on her. And so I agree with Tommy. She needs to have a conversation with Cam and see whether Cam is happy to put up with that or Cam is not up for that. And then we'll see whether they need to continue or whether they needs to stop it. Next up was Hussein. You had Rose saying he cared too much. Angie on her part saying he was cool. He was relaxed, and his words weren't meeting his actions because apparently he wasn't following up with her. And it's like, as I've said before, everyone has their priority and then they have their backup. And sadly, Angie could be the backup. The girls then stayed behind. Tommy asked them to decide who they wanted to dump. So the ladies decided between Hussein and Naeem. Naeem, sadly, his fate was sealed with the 5 children and the cheating, and he could never win, regardless of the fact that, because Diona was saying that had he not had the 5 children, should have been ready to go. And it's like, Diona is another very nitpicky person. It shows why she's single. That's just my opinion. Anyway, Angie and Hussein, they had a conversation. She complained that you don't communicate. Most of the ladies are saying that you're not calling back, you're not texting, but we've decided you're ready to love. I feel like the problem for Hussein is he's got a lot of connections and his multitude of connections fought for him. Whereas with Naeem, sadly for Naeem, both his connections, I think, dumped him. I think when he spoke about cheating, the 3 baby mamas and the 5 children, you had Diana and Tayson, or we're done. Because they did say, you have very close friends, you have great energy, the problem is you have too many children. And it's like, I don't think too many children should be something that should hinder him from finding love. Because at the end of the day, you can get someone with no children who is just a hot mess. So the idea that these girls dumped this guy because he's got too many children and 3 baby mamas doesn't make sense. Had they dumped him for cheating, that would have made more sense to me, but that's not what they dumped him for. I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 7. Bye guys.